Mark.
Is Superman dead?
I don't know. He might be after just 3 pages, right? 3 pages in, and he might be dead.
Oh no.
We'll find out. We'll find out right after this. It's the newest edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. Before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Leave us a comment. Let us know how you're doing. And hit the notification bell so you're alerted whenever we upload new content. It is here. It is finally here. We've been talking about it and talking about it and talking about it. Absolute Power is finally here. Issue number 1 released last week. And it starts off, well, if you already know how it starts off if you bought any DC Comics over the past 2 or 3 weeks, because it was because the first 3 pages were in the back of just about every comic. But yeah, I for one am so excited for Absolute Power. Got this really sweet wraparound Dan Mora cover.
I got that too.
From issue number 1. But it starts off, like you said, with the question, is Superman dead?
Oh man, I hope not. I really like that guy. But yes, the first couple of pages that they gave us in the free comic book day edition a few months back, it's also been the added bonus to all your titles across the board the past month. And you have what we've seen before, the crooks that have just got on robbing somewhere. They're on a rooftop running for a helicopter, sweating or not, if they're going to get out in time. And Superman just floats on by, making a comment about silent alarms aren't silent to me. And the guy with the twitchy finger takes some pot shots at Superman when his friends are like, stop panicking. And those shots, Superman just arms on the hips. And then you see like this distortion. And then the bullets go straight through him. He kind of looks around, looks down, and you see bullet holes in his chest, and he sees blood in his hand. Then we have the iconic image that we've been seeing that was even the cover of the free comic book day special foil edition. And Superman seemingly falling to his death. And that's how we start Absolute Power.
Right, exactly. Chapter 1 called Powerless, and then after 3 pages, we start wondering, is Superman dead? After 5 pages, we start wondering, is Animal Man dead?
Yeah, it looks like we're going to kill a lot of people. You get Buddy Baker flying around the city with his daughter, just chit-chatting, talking about how they haven't been around for a while. They land in the park and immediately start catching stones to the back of the head. The entire civilian population of the park takes bats and stones and starts wailing and beating them, with Animal Man's daughter screaming, leave him alone, leave him alone. And then we cut back the camera to Batman and Damian watching these events unfold on the news.
Yes, and we come to find out that there are all over the internet, all over the news, there are videos of superheroes doing just horrendous things to innocent people. And so we see Mr. Terrific talking about one thing that he's seen. We see Nightwing talking about the thing that he's seen. We've seen Wonder Woman and Aquaman talking about what they're watching. We see
all of which know the footage is fake right off the get-go and are wondering what's happening. It's a targeted media assault on all the heroes, making them out to be murderers.
Right. We then cut to the Daily Planet, and we see Clark and Lois, and one of the reporters wants to basically run a story on what's going on, and Lois says, I won't do that because it hasn't been verified. And then they bring up this screen that shows, horrible things that are happening, and Lois says, who is this? What's this? What's going on? And Jimmy Olsen tells her, that's us. That's our website.
The Daily Planet is running this footage now.
Right.
And for the record, these events with the footage and everything is happening 28 hours before Superman getting shot off the roof.
Correct. In the meantime, interspersed actually throughout all of the scenes that we're seeing is this letter that's being written by Amanda Waller, who basically is saying that she has come basically rid the world of superpowered beings.
And speaking of Amanda Waller, we cut to Amanda Waller at the Hall of Order, formerly the Hall of Justice, and she's talking to Commander Still about what's happening and how she is the one controlling this media information output, how she is painting the airways with these heroes slaughtering people in the streets, and reveals that it's happening by way of Queen Brainiac, which we talked about in last week's episode. Amanda Waller's in control of. She fired her up. She's operating on brand new programming as well as Sanctuary, and the basically running AI across everyone's media outlets to paint the televisions with whatever they see fit.
Right, and she makes a very, if you want to say that there are comics sometimes that make comments on today's world, she says something that is actually very prescient towards what's going on today, and that is, whether you believe it or not, and I get, that there are different sides, but she says if you just repeat it 50,000 times, people will start to believe it.
Yeah, enough people. Some people will, then enough people will.
Right.
Yep. So then in walks Failsafe. Winning a war is about keeping the enemy off balance. Did you not stop to think about how much power and data it takes to seize half the internet and mass disperse all that footage? Amanda, it's time for phase 2.
Mm-hmm. Phase 2, we had seen earlier that they were powering up Queen Brainiac as well. But now phase 2 is basically all of these. Well, that actually is a little bit later.
Amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. All of these, what we're going to call Task Force 7 going forward, are all of these Amazo robots that have been created, that have basically been now powered by Failsafe, and are now, out to do the work that Amanda Waller wants them to do.
Yeah, so all these media attacks brought the heroes out to the streets. They're trying to play damage control so the cities don't tear themselves apart, thinking that all these meta superpowers across the world are went homicidal. And while they're out on the streets, we start seeing things through the lens of phase 2. And it looks like some kind of robotic or some kind of lens it almost looks like Terminator-esque, red with all the writing on the lens. And it's targeting heroes and showing their power levels. And you turn the page and you see that John Kent and Connor Kent saw Superman falling from the sky after he was shot, and they went and caught him. And while carrying him to help, they glitch. They glitch and fall from the sky. And I think that's about the time Batman figures out that there's a big attack happening.
Correct. He basically says he fell for it. She outwitted him. The goal was to get all of them out in the open, and how they did that was by running all of these different stories and assuming that the heroes would then go out to try to prove to the masses that that's not who they were. So she basically brought them all out from their hiding places, basically, so that they could be out in the open, so that her Amazos could do what she wanted them to do.
And we start getting glimpses of like the Flash family, the JSA, all of our magical characters, Wonder Woman, Captain Marvel, and the Marvel family, and they all start getting glitched out. They all start getting targeted. And then you turn your page to your big reveal when Batman makes a comment that I could outwit her if I was just clever enough, but she's not playing chess. She's rolling tanks. And you turn the page and you get the big reveal of what exactly is targeting them. And we see the Amazo army designed to look like their superhero counterparts that they're set out to shut down. Fantastic art by Dan Mora. Beautifully designed. These things are super cool. I always enjoy Amazo stuff. We were talking and critiquing Amazo and saying we need Amazo ever since the first appearance of Failsafe. Right. I don't know how many people have been watching this for a long time, but with the first rollout of Failsafe, we talked about why are we doing a Batman robot? Why don't we just do Amazo? This is so much better. Now we have 7 Amazos. This is awesome.
Exactly. We got a baker's dozen. Yeah. But we see that these Amazos have powers to be able to drain, and not just superpowers, but they can drain magic as well. So we see
specifically they make the user forget how to conjure.
Correct. Right. So we see, John Constantine doesn't know how to cast a spell anymore. Dr. Fate doesn't know how to cast a spell anymore. Spectre. All of them are basically unable to do anything because they don't know how to cast magic anymore.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then Wonder Woman gets attacked, by the Amazo robot assigned to her, which has a fantastic name, but we haven't gotten to that reveal yet.
Right, and then we see Batman calling on the JLA again, using the the frequency that they have, and in pops is a voice that he recognizes. It is Oliver Queen, Green Arrow.
Oh God, this was heartbreaking.
Right.
And the way that Oliver's talking to him while he's kind of looks like he's just checking his fingernails, like nonchalantly. His suit looks awesome. I love this design. I don't care if it's like meant to be a Waller-esque design. It just looks good with the minimal green on the shoulders. But he tells Batman on the right side of because he asks where Green Arrow, where are you? On the right side of history, pal. I'm sorry, I really am. But I've been warning all you super folks for a long time that us humans don't appreciate being looked down on, and you wouldn't listen to me. Sure, you're great at capping volcanoes, but fixing society's real problems, actually empowering the powerless, affecting actual change, you get an F for effort. Not anymore. I'm on Team Waller now, and we're coming for you. What?
Right.
What?
And he basically narrates the remainder of the issue, basically telling them what's going on. You know, how not only have they taken away their powers or made people not being able to, to conjure magic, but through their tech that they've had with the Amazos and everything, they've been able to shut off time and space. So no one is going to come from another time. No one's going to come from outer space. We see what's going on with Green Lantern happening here again with Amanda Waller and how the Earth has been quarantined. We basically see that there's Oliver tells them there's no escape, there's no exit, there's no hope. And basically says, and by the way, if you think this is going to be reversible, that you're going to get your powers back, there's no way, because there's no way to return your powers.
Yeah, this isn't we'll just get it back. I thought that was fantastic.
Right.
What's taken is irretrievable. There is no return mechanism. Your powers are never coming back, which obviously they are, but it's going to be interesting if they have to find some kind of workaround.
Right. But that's not the end. Although you would think it says next month that there would be an end. There is a 2-page epilogue.
Yeah, this is awesome. Just pure black.
Mm-hmm.
And then like eyes are opening. Where, but it's not just regular eyes. We're seeing the mechanical eyes, much like when we were looking through the eyes of the Task Force 7 Amazos. Where am I? Why can't I feel my arm? And he's holding an arm up. There's wires going into it. My legs. Why is it cold in here? Who? And you see an eyeball, and the eye has tech inside of the eyeball. And you turn the page. Who am I? You got John Kent wired up, hooked up, and on his way to become a cyborg, which I'm very, very excited about.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, it's such a great way to end the issue. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. What a great way to end the issue. If you've been following the solicitations, you know that they actually added a Super Sun one-shot to the whole Absolute Power grouping of books. So looking forward to that. I can't wait. I really can't wait.
It's going to be awesome.
It is. But that's not all that happened in Absolute Power. Because the other thing is, if you think that these tie-ins in the back or whatever, these mini tie-ins are just kind of throwaway, well, something happens, at least in this first one anyway. There are things that we find out that are very important to what's going on. So
absolutely. Batman 150. So it's the standard, almost oversized regular story. It feels more than 28 pages, and you don't need it. It's useless. It's just a random story about how Batman doesn't just throw away and forget about the little henchmen. He thinks about them too. It's good, whatever. Right. But the backup story.
Which is the tie-in, yeah. And it's called Brick by Brick because it starts with Batman talking about, when he became a crime fighter, when he got all his money, the first thing he did was he bought the company that made the gun that shot his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically shut it down. He found jobs for everybody that was working there. He got them all but jobs at Wayne Enterprises, but he basically brick by brick took apart the company that made the gun that was responsible for killing his parents. And now he feels guilt because he feels like he made Failsafe that is now taking apart basically everyone
brick by brick. And he's trying to track down the power source. It was the gun factory before. Now, where's the power source now? And he's identified that a power source is clearly coming from Titan's Tower in the middle of the city. So he breaks his way into there. Keep in mind, this is directly following the events of what we saw in the last issue. All the superpower people got shut down. Batman got away, not being a superpower person. Cyborg was working on tapping into and shutting down the AI media blitzkrieg early on. There was one panel that we didn't mention, but that's where we pick up in this is is where that one panel saw Cyborg hooked into all the computers at Titan Tower, trying to break through the firewalls and shut down that AI smear campaign, which he couldn't do. The Queen Brainiac tech is too high tech. But Batman walks into Titan's Tower to find Cyborg right there in that situation. He's telling Batman Waller has a virus. It's trying to shut me down. I'm getting around it, but just barely.
Right. And so as he's talking to Batman, and they're talking about, he says he identified the power source, however, and he says the power source, he says she has a mother box.
Boom.
Right.
Y'all are
I get it. That's funny. Boom.
Yes. This episode is brought to you by puns.
Exactly. So she's got a mother box, which, for those of you who don't know, is pretty much an unlimited source of power. It's
and travel. Power
correct.
And travel.
Correct. It is apocalyptian tech. It's actually fourth world tech, I guess, not necessarily apocalyptian tech. So.
Mm-hmm.
And right at that stage, go ahead, and then Amazo comes through the wall.
Yeah, as soon as he says it's a mother box, she has a boom. Then through the floor comes one of the Amazo robots, and not just anyone, the one that's assigned to Wonder Woman. Mm-hmm. Like that just seems more scary to me than potentially some of the other ones, because Wonder Woman's such a warrior, such a fighter, and this is already a dangerous situation. It adds a level of danger to it, but it starts actually talking with them, having a conversation. Says, "Oh, of course you would be here, the ever vigilant Batman of Gotham."
Right.
This is larger than Gotham, larger than some simple basher like yourself.
Right, and so the fists get thrown down. Batman gets some licks in. Doesn't really hurt the Amazo. And just as we think the Amazo is probably about to win, he gets called back to Amanda Waller's place. Oh,
there's some important key things that really stood out to me in this. I feel like there's a lot of detail hidden in this, because Batman is dialoguing to himself. And he points out that the diction, the word choice, the accent, the Amazo sounds Victorian. The priority here is to protect Cyborg. He's the key to stopping this. And the Amazo robot is, they're as strong as Diana, but I have to keep trying to. I can't let him take the rest. What was it? It was the Victorian thing. And then the name. I guess we don't get the name until it's called back in. Yeah.
Right.
Then the name of it, when it's called back in, like you mentioned, Paradise Lost. You're needed back at base immediately.
Right.
Its code name is Paradise Lost.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
That's very freaking cool. I'm excited about talking about that. We know that the Superman one is called Last Son because of issue 1 of Task Force 7. I guess you could look at the solicitation and see all the names of them, but the only one I was aware of was Last Son, and then I read this, I'm like, Paradise Lost. They're all going to be named after iconic stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
This is amazing. It just gets
absolutely.
better.
Yeah, exactly. As a callback, the whole thing has been calling back to, all along, but now that it's calling back to the stories as well, it's like, it is very cool.
And then the last thing I want to point out is what Failsafe says to Paradise Lost when calling her back in. Now we're at war, and ignoring orders ends lives, because Paradise Lost wanted to stay and stop Batman and Cyborg. And Failsafe says, "You're a Batman. You save lives." Mm-hmm. Talking to Paradise Lost. So these are all different Zur-Anals across the multiverse embedded into all these Amazos.
Correct. So I'm glad you mentioned Victorian, because I was thinking when I read that, is that the Joker or the Zur-Anal from Gaslight, Gotham by Gaslight?
That's what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah.
This has got so many deep cuts and so much potential. This is just, it's so good. This is the tie-in.
Right, exactly. It's like 8 pages, and there's so much in just these 8 pages, 8 or 10 pages, whatever it is. But
don't sleep in the tie-ins.
Exactly. But yeah, I immediately thought when they said Victorian, I'm like, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
And
then we get this cool scene where Flash is in numerous places at one time. All their tech is down, all their superpowers are down. Flash has not been depowered yet. And he's literally standing in front of Batman and Diana across the continent from each other simultaneously, playing Mr. Walkie-Talkie, which was a great Flash moment.
Absolutely, because they don't want to use any technology, because they know it'll be monitored and everything. So Flash is basically hearing what Wonder Woman says, running to tell Batman what it is, hearing what Batman says,
and then Superman. So he's hitting the Trinity.
So we do find out, that's an important point too. We do find out that Superman is okay. He is not dead.
And what's he wearing?
and he's wearing his black suit.
Let's
So
go.
yeah, he's wearing his black suit, so he's not dead. He is in looks like the Fortress of Solitude to
Fortress of
me.
Solitude with Mr. Terrific,
Correct.
rocking the black suit, healing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Batman delivers the information via Flash that she has a mother box, and Superman's response is, "Great row. We need to find it. Even apart from depriving Waller, it may be our only way off planet to save people or gain help."
Right.
Batman says, "I'll get it."
Yep. And he says, "You know what? When you need to have something stolen, I got just the person."
Yeah, and then his cat is like rubbing on his
Right.
legs. To be continued next issue, and the adventure beyond continues in the pages of Absolute Power. What a kickoff!
Yeah, absolutely. It was incredible. Paid off for everything that have been leading up to it. Absolutely. So,
We've said absolutely so much during this stream.
I know
it's fitting. It's fitting.
it really is. Do not sleep on this because this is it's already at the top of the sales charts. So make sure you go out and get some. I'm sure there'll already be a second printing probably. So if you happen to miss it for some reason and your store is out, I'm sure you can probably find it. I'm sure a lot. I mean, stores probably overordered it if they were smart. So
yeah, if they were smart.
Yeah. So, but yeah, can't wait. Next week we got the tie-in with Green Lantern, and we got the first of 7 issues of Absolute Task Force 7. That's coming out twice a month. I think maybe
where
even
we'll
once
see
is
the
coming.
Amazo army. It'll focus on a specific one, and as they're tasked with hunting down specific sets of superheroes, we'll be watching the Last Son hunt down the Marvel family.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, we will be back to cover it all. Quick plug: we got our 100th episode coming up soon in just a couple of weeks. We'll be talking about that over the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be huge. You got a massive giveaway coming up, so make sure you're watching out for that as well. But that's gonna be it for this edition of DC Comics Deep Dive. I am Paul. He is Mark.
But we are Legion.
And you are now leaving Sector 2815.